All right, so I've got a bag roughed out. Let's go into object mode, and maybe we start talking about roughing out the environment and creating some materials now. So viewport shading, and right now I'm in solid. I think what I'll do is change it over to material preview. Nothing much to see there because I don't have a material on the bag. I'll come back to that in a bit. I think from the front view, I'm just going to grab this and move it up a little bit, just because. And I think what I'll do is I will add a plane. So we're going to add a mesh. I'm going to add a plane right underneath it. Let's go ahead and scale that up a whole bunch. I don't have a particular number in mind. I'm just kind of something like that'll be fine. We can change that later. And I think it's time to create a material. So what I can do is, well, I can just go here and change the workspace to the shading tab. And now I've got this area here. So what I can do is I'll just go ahead and with the plane selected, and maybe I'll actually, while I'm at it, let's go in here and I'm just going to double click in there and rename the plane to ground. All right. So with the ground selected, I think I'll move back into the shader area and I'll select new. I'll give the material a name, and in this case, I think I'll just call it ground. I'm going to go with sort of a rock type thing, something like that. And in this case, I went to Texture Lab and I had grabbed um, an image. And I think what I'll do is I'll start by just plugging that in right into here. So uh, I can just go up here to add and I can select search and I can type in image texture and just put that right in there. Then I'll go ahead and I'll open, and there we go. I've got this stone from the Texture Lab website, and I'm just going to start by just selecting color and dragging it to base color on my principled BDSF shader, and voila. Now that's a huge improvement, of course, but it's pretty flat and whatever. So the next thought I have is maybe we make a few other changes. So we can add a color ramp right in here. And we can kind of play around with this a little bit. Like, for example, if I kind of move things around a bit, and maybe I can even play around with adding, by clicking on the plus sign, another spot in here. And we can even click on these individual arrows and play around with the color or the value a little bit. Maybe I play around and add a little bit of a blue or something to it and just kind of play around with that a little bit, right? Give it a little bit of variety in what's happening. So that's all well and good. I think maybe what we can do now is we can play around with the idea of adding some height to this, the illusion of height. So I can go up to add and search for displacement. And we'll just pop that down here somewhere. And we can run displacement here to displacement here on the material output. Okay. Now nothing particularly shocking has happened, but now the next thing we can do is grab this color node right here and move that and plug that into height. And now we start getting more of a textured look that's happening. I might play around with this material I grabbed. I don't know if this is the right pick or not. I think other thing I could maybe do is play around with roughness. So maybe I will grab this color ramp and duplicate it. I did that by holding down Shift and pushing D. And maybe we play around with the same thing where we take this color and we can plug it in here to the FAC. And then from there, we can grab the color and plug that into roughness here rather than having an actual number. So anyway, we've got a much more interesting base. I think I will change what my base image is though. So I'll hold off on that and just do it independently. But still, this is kind of a nice start. I think I've got more of a quartz thing in. Maybe I'll look for like a quartz texture or something along those lines. Make that change and then move on.